Oof. uh, yeah, that happened. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to Spinistry Chat. Pretty excited about this one. We have some cool stuff we're rolling out, and I do promise I'll explain what happened there, and maybe you'll catch some bonus angles too. What we're focusing on today is a brand new urban trail gravel riding capability, and it lines up for a bunch of cool stuff. We're going to do a route overview, a map overview, show you how it's laid out, the amenities that are there, where it's at, how to get there, where to park, a little bit of video from the ride, and like I said, my little hiccup there. Maybe we'll go a little bit more in depth there from multiple angles and explain what happened if you might be so inclined to be interested in something like that. So this is the Cypress Waters Trail. It's basically a brand new trail around North Lake near Coppell, Irving, Dallas. Power plant was there. It was cooled by the lake. That disappeared years ago. It was a recreation area, but it's basically been abandoned for the past 20 years or so. They've started developing on the west side of the lake shops, apartments, office buildings, restaurants, bars, stuff like that. That's really cool. It has what's essentially somewhere between 5 3/4 and 7 mile trail, depending on how you do it, that goes all the way around the lake. The west side here, which is the buildings, the shopping area, and we'll zoom in on it a little bit and do the satellite and aerial views, give a little bit more detail. That's mostly paved, but all this stuff basically around the south to the east and the north side is all unpaved. So probably at least 2/3 of it is unpaved. Go to the satellite view and show you a little bit more detail on it. And we'll go ahead and go to full screen. Why not, right? This is the newly developed area. And this track is actually my second lap from when I rode it the other day. And this was where I parked right here. So that's where this track ended up. Over here is Flying Saucer. Great after ride beer joint there. There's a coffee shop, a 7-Eleven, pizza joint, a couple of restaurants over here. One of them's Flying Fish. I can't remember what the other one is. So hey, plenty of after ride stuff to do no matter what time of day you show up. Pavilion area here, and this is the main gathering spot. Plenty of parking here, and this is a mixture of apartments and office buildings, but all of the parking here was marked retail parking or 2-hour parking. This lot here had no time limit marked on it, so that's where I chose to park. If there's an official trailhead or something like that, I didn't come across it. I think this is a perfectly good parking spot, and there's another one that if you're just concentrating on the ride and not worried about hitting a spot afterwards or anything like that, that might work for you. But basically starting from here, this is all paved trail. And I did it counterclockwise. You can obviously do it clockwise as well. There's going to be a big difference if you do it counterclockwise versus clockwise. We'll touch on that when we get to that spot. Winding around the lake here. Again, this is still paved trail. And then right here at this line right here, that's where it turns into gravel at this point. And something I do want to say about this gravel, I would not consider this all-weather gravel by any stretch of the imagination. And you can see here where the track doesn't seem to line up with anything in the aerial view. So some of the newer parts of the trail are new. This goes to that other area I was talking about for potential parking. So this is a little out and back section. This is a really nice gravel road. I did shoot a little bit of video here. I'll probably start, when I edit this, start interspersing some of it from this point forward somewhere in the mix. But what you can potentially do, so basically, if you don't do this out and back, it's 5 3/4, 6 miles, something like that. If you do this out and back, include that in it, it's about 7 miles. But there is additional parking right down here. So that might not be a bad way to do it. If you're just there to ride, park here, hop on the trail, and then you don't do a true out and back. It's just kind of a lollipop doing the whole circuit, however you choose to do it. And this is so what I was talking about. So you can see here when we zoom in, There's no trail or dirt road or anything through here on this satellite imagery. So this is a newer section here. But also, let's go and we'll go back to going all the way around the lake momentarily. But so like this section here, you see where it looks like it's going through the lake, and this section here, it looks like it's going through the lake. They do not do that any longer. They're actually lowering the lake level. They're draining the lake, not all the way, but where these little inlets are draining down basically to the main lake area. But what that means is if it rains, that's going to be a mucky, muddy mess. So this is not a place you want to go when the mountain bike trails are closed, or hey, let's check it out during a rain. Nope, it's not going to work for that at all. This is going to be fair weather riding basically only. This is a nice little descent here, or maybe it's from up here, one of these points. And I think it's from up here. That's basically where I took my tumble, trying to get that shot. But somewhere along here, it's either this point or this point here. That's actually a pretty good hill. If you're going counterclockwise, like the way we're showing, you're going to have a really screaming downhill. If you go clockwise, you're going to have a really tough, loose and chunky climb. So something to be aware of there. It's a nice hill in the mix, uphill or downhill, or if you do multiple laps, mix it up and do both. And then all this on the east side is all dirt and gravel, and most of it's pretty good gravel over here. It's once you get back into the newer sections on the north and the south end of the lake that it's less than ideal if it's wet. Here's a section here. Basically, you have to go straight up if you're going counterclockwise, or straight down if you're going clockwise. The levee, it's really not rideable going up at this point. I'm assuming they'll do something. This is gated here. It's something I was looking forward to see if there's a way to access some of the other stuff in the area. But for the most part, none of these, and here's where I did a tangent and found some mud. But yeah, I tried a couple of these tangents here to see if they went anywhere, and basically it was no trespassing signs and lock gates and stuff like that. So unless you're getting super adventurous, I don't think there's really any deviating off the trail, trying to catch side roads over here. Basically, you have to catch the main road out by Civilization, and that all sorts of signage in this area, leaving Civilization and stuff like that. It's actually a really cool trail. Particularly being urban like it is. But right now you can come out here and catch the sidewalk and wind through the office buildings. And almost all this over here is done now. So it's a really cool ride. Looking forward to it. And our plan is starting last Thursday of September. Everybody's welcome. But it's definitely meant as an additional benefit for Club Spinistry riders. We'll start meeting out here on Thursday nights, weather permitting. Trail conditions permitting. Officially kicking it off last Thursday in September is the plan, but maybe we'll catch a Thursday or two and start getting the lay of the land. We'll figure out times and stuff like that. Look for the events. It was better gravel than I was expecting. Now there was some loose dirt in there and stuff like that as well. So, but it's still It'd be nice if it was a 15-mile loop, but hey, I'll take 6 or 7 miles and go a couple different ways and have a beer afterwards. That works for me just fine. So now we'll talk about my little incident that y'all saw at the beginning of the video. I was shooting with the 360 cam when it happened. So I was just trying to get the view of the overhead. Basically, I'm on a new bike that I'm trying out and going to give a first impressions video on. That'll be coming up in the next few days as well. And on the new bike, it had some new pedals. I'm not happy with them at the moment, but we'll talk about the pedals in a future video most likely. And it was troublesome getting in and out of them. So basically, as I was stopped shooting video, I had my right foot still clipped in because it was a pain to clip in to the pedals. I didn't think it was much of a pain to clip out. I was on that hill and I'm shooting the video, and as I shoot the video, I have the camera in one hand. Basically, I don't have a hand on the brake, and as I swivel with my weight shifting, goes to the left, so the bike starts to move, starts to roll, and I don't have a hand on the brake. I have a camera in my hand, an expensive 360-degree camera, which is why we're getting these unique shots that you can see from multiple angles. It's just pretty cool. I'm fine. It's all good. Took a tumble, and if you notice in one of the shots, handlebar came pretty close to hitting a sensitive area. Thank goodness that didn't happen. We will do an overview of the bike itself in the near future. It's an entry-level bike. We'll talk about more of that. Pedals, I'm not happy with. No ifs, ands, or buts about that, but we'll talk about that more in depth. Come join us. Last Thursday of September going forward, we'll be out here every week, and we'll probably be looking at picking another location for either Tuesday or Wednesday night as well. Thank you for the Club Spinistry members that voted on which night of the week to do this, and come join us at our next video.